Hey guys, it's me, man, from No Budget Productions, and with me today is my friend Dan. Hey Dan, how are we
Where?
doing today, buddy?
Is he here? Hey, Vance, how you doing? Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
not too
Hi,
bad.
Vance. How are you?
Right, right. Corrected you on that. It's Vance.
Okay.
Come on, I got a chip on my shoulder here. You
Yeah,
better
we,
knock
we
it
were
off here.
talking. We were talking earlier, and we were the stuff that you can't hear, right?
Yeah, right, right, right. No, uh, as those that may not know, you are in charge of Warp 66 Studios. You and Glenn Wolf.
Uh,
You guys have some new stuff coming up. The awards ceremony. Before
yeah.
before we delve into the Star
Oh, go
Trek
ahead.
stuff of it, what can you tell us about the awards ceremony? Because I just got the ballots and stuff today, and I'm kind of excited to start watching some films that I didn't even know were out there.
What um, you being a fan film maker, producer, director, uh, we wanted to. Let me back up a minute. Um, you know, Glenn and I um, have won several awards over the 5 or 6 years we've been together. And, we always critique how the awards are done, how they're put together. And they're basically, they kind of more mirror the Oscars or the Emmys or whatever. You got your best director, best actress, whatever. Um, but there never was a category for the guy that is never talked about or never seen, or maybe the may come to every shoot and donate his time and maybe bought the lunches
Guy that
or
got your
was
coffee.
there, yeah, or stayed there from early in the morning. It was the first one there in the early in the morning, the last one to leave at 3 or 4 at night, in the morning. So we always thought that we would like the idea of having something that would honor those people, and then Glenn and I over the years, we talk about how that could be done. And then recently we said, um, if we could have an awards, um, if we could have an awards event where the actual directors who basically put the films together and takes the scripts and throws their vision together. If we could have the directors to be the voters, to be the judges for these films, then we could probably accomplish that goal of maybe getting to the real bare bones necessity of how a true award could be awarded to somebody. And so we come up with the Fan Film Directors Choice Awards, and we just gone past the stage of getting all the entries submitted. All the directors submitted. They haven't done that yet, but we've got all the directors that are involved, and we're going to tally the votes, and then they're going to judge those films that the judges put into categories. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I think March the 15th is going to be the deadline for all the directors to make those judgments on all the films that were selected. I think we had 38, which is quite a few. And
Yeah,
we not only took in, now this is all fan films, uh, any um, any existing popular TV series, movie, hero character, anything like that. We've got several from Star Wars, a lot of Star Trek fan films submitted, 2 or 3 James Bond films. We've got 1 or 2 Indiana Jones films. So, I mean, it runs the gamut. And I think we had 4 or 5 different foreign films from overseas. So we're kind of excited that we
well,
got such a good showing in the beginning.
I think I saw a Harry Potter one in there
Yeah,
too, if I'm
there's a
not
Harry
mistaken.
Potter one. Yes, that was a good film. Yeah, and it's really interesting because Um, a lot of the writing, uh, fan film people take liberties a lot, and they go out of the boundaries a little ways, and it's very interesting to see where they take these stories. And some of it is like, wow, why don't we see that in regular TV series or movies? Some of the ideas, and we've been putting out links to some of the films, and we'll continue to do that throughout the next few weeks. But if you get a chance to watch some of those, watch them. They're quite interesting. Some of them very, very good.
Well, that's the
You got a couple films. What you got? Two or three films, I think, that you were involved in.
uh, yeah.
I know that you
Thankfully,
directed. Were there two that you directed? Is that right?
I think there's like two or three. Like, thankfully, I can stay away from a few of them because like I kind of made it a mental note, be like, if it's on my channel, I'm just going to avoid it altogether because
Yeah,
I don't want it to even look partial,
yeah,
biased in any way. So
right.
if it's on my channel, because I think there's like four films that are on my channel, I believe, and
Mm-hmm.
even though I didn't direct them,
Yeah,
I'm not even going to vote because I think technically it's like if I directed it, but I think two of them I didn't direct. But if it's on my
yeah.
channel,
Well,
I'm not going to vote for it.
yeah. Well, one thing great about it is I have one film that I directed, and
Mhm.
it's in there, but I can't vote on any
Yep.
category where my film was, which makes it fair.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we wanted to do. Yeah, we're filmmakers, but we want you to. I want you to watch Doppelganger, and I want you to be impressed with that. Now,
Yeah.
if you vote for it, fine. If you don't, but I think we have five different categories you can enter. So if you have someone that was in the cast or crew that you thought was outstanding, like a great acting scene or whatever, then you have up to five different categories to put each person in. Best actor, best actress, best editing. We even included a category called best green screen.
I saw
And
that. I saw that.
yeah, and that was kind of my idea because I do a lot of green screen, or I'm forced to do a lot of green screen, and sometimes green screen is just so amazingly perfect that you say, "Gosh, I need to win an award for that." But some of
Right.
it is really, really bad.
I've
And
I've done
what
I've done some of the bad.
Yeah, yeah, I've done some of the bad too. Oh my gosh, green screen is an art. I am telling you what. And I have watched so many YouTube videos on how to tweak everything to make it look a lot better. And over the years, I've come up with some tips and tricks on how to make it look better where it doesn't look like, because when a scene comes up, you go green screen. But it's interesting that what I even told Glenn later, I said, I really want to know what scenes are green screen, because it could be, there are some films that are so good with green screen you can't tell. So I think next year we've decided to um, have the directors tell us what portion that they want to nominate for the green screen, so we'll know when we look at it, so we can judge that or not. But
I think
some of the other categories are um, best ensemble cast, which there's some fan films that are repeated over and over, and you get to really enjoy that cast and that crew and those characters. And we've got several entries that are in this year, and we're excited to see what the outcome is for those votes.
well, I saw the doppelganger on the list that I recognized. I saw Interlude that I
Mhm,
recognized.
mhm.
I saw a couple of mine. I saw Razor's Edge from Josephita.
Right, right.
Um, to me it was, it was kind of a. I mean, and you said 38 films, which blows my mind. I mean, when I saw when I saw the list, I was like, oh, this keeps going and going and
Yeah,
going.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I have two films to watch. It took me 2 days to watch all these films.
Mhm.
So, it's not a small task, and I hope that all the directors, you know, uh, um, don't are not allergic to popcorn, because there's going to be a lot of popcorn to eat, or maybe pizza. Pizza
There
roll.
you go. There you go, man. That's the way to do it. You know, and that's one of the beauty about, when the appeal that you guys, when you had the idea for doing these, is letting the directors decide. Instead of it being some, Johnny come lately, or some, fancy schmancy person that nobody's, no one in our circle knows. Like it's us choosing,
Yeah.
because we know what goes into the work. We know what goes
Right.
into this, and as fan film directors, like, we can look at a piece of art and go, this may not be the most technically accurate, but god dang, there's a lot of fucking heart
Yeah.
in this.
Oh yeah.
This,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, um, and that's the thing. Like, we look at it from the same level. Obviously, in something like what George Cayenne does, the production level is not as much there as, say, a Josh Irwin production,
Right.
but the
Mhm.
heart is in both as
Yeah.
equal. The
There,
money
there
may
was
not be, but
there was a film that you were involved in, and it was from the two guys from Canada. Am I getting that right?
uh,
Is that
what
familiar?
what
Or,
what was the I
the hold on a second. Oh my gosh. I can't remember the name of the. I've got the list right here. Oh shoot. Uh, Little Lies.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Little Lies.
Sean Reimer. Yeah,
I was impressed with that film. I mean,
yeah,
it was, see, and that's what gets me excited because it was the writing
yeah.
on that one. Um, I mean, the writing for me anyway, the writing has to really touch me or nothing looks good. I don't care if you've got a fantastic battle scene. If you've got 20 minutes of battle scene and 2 minutes of dialogue, if the dialogue's great, then it's a great film to me. But it has to be, the characters and the dialogue. But that was one. And when you talk about this, the ones that you were involved with, that was one that I noticed. Oh, Vance is involved with that one. When's he going to come? When were you going to come in? What scene were you going to come in on? I go, well, he never showed up. But anyway,
Well, see, the
that was fun.
the beauty of, like, when I first started fan films, like, nobody wanted me anywhere near, their production, because I was the overly eager fat guy in a Star Trek outfit. Nobody wanted me, because I'd always be like, hey, if you need help, I'll help, but nobody, like, realistically, it was a different, when Michael first hired me, I feel, at least, it was a different scenario than it is now. Now, you might need help from Josh, or
Yeah.
you might need help from me, or I might need help from you, or Wolf, or Ray, or like, we help each other out. But back when I first started, I'd go up to people, hey, if you need help, and nope, don't need it. And people were very closed off, because everyone was so gung-ho and cutthroat about being, I want to be the best. No, I want to be the best. No, I want to be, and they'd fucking block you out. And it was not an atmosphere of, hey, let's help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was the thing. My goal was, I always wanted to be very inclusive in my Star Trek, and I wanted to help other people make their films, even if they weren't the best blockbuster. And I wanted to make people's dreams come true, like Michael had made for me. And Sean, who is an actor on my film, in my film series, he's an aspiring actor, and much like several actors on my films, he wanted to make his own. And I'm always encouraging on that. I'm like, hey, send me the script. Like, I'll approve it if it doesn't break canon with my stuff, and all thumbs up at whatever help you need. You've got
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
when he sent me the script for it, I was like, man, I fucking love this. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of these, is it's like, if you encourage your actors and they go do their stuff, it's much like what Michael did with me when I said, hey, can I, it's taken kind of long to do the Valiant films. Can I do some Menard ones? And, I got the approval from him with all the early scripts, to make sure that it wasn't breaking what he, the foundation of what he laid out. And having that faith in your actors, you get the type of stuff that what Sean produced,
Yeah.
which is
Oh yeah.
free content for the channel, and good
Yeah.
stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, well, it gives him an outlet, and I
Yeah,
hope they get some get some good feedback with that, because that was a good start. I don't know if it was their first one or not, but but the writing was really impressed me. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, that's the beauty about doing, like you had said, why aren't some of the big, oh, hold up. Daniel Vance says, good afternoon, fellow sci-fi fanatics. Hello, Daniel.
Hmm. Hello,
Um,
Daniel.
but you mentioned about, why aren't some of the bigger, bigger, productions doing stuff like that,
Yeah,
these films. A lot of times the fans come up with stories that are just tons better than what the studios do.
yeah,
Some people can argue that some of the fan films are better than what is being thrown
right.
out today.
Well,
And that's not,
I think the major studios are they're cookie cutter
yeah,
factory producers. So they when they give when the writers submit their scripts, they have to fit into a cookie cutter form or mold or whatever. The actor has to, the lead actor has to do this, and he has to end up over here. So I mean, they're limited too.
yeah.
So that's why these fan films are so interesting to watch.
Well, we can take an idea and something that you know we look at something and we're like, I didn't care for that, let me take that and we'll just run with it.
Mhm.
Like the film Raincross that I did. I watched Star Trek Picard season 1, and to me it was a 10-hour movie that could have been really done in, like, an hour and a half. It just, there wasn't much substance there. That's kind of the problem with the current season of Discovery. I'm not a fan of this current season. It's just kind of dragging itself out. But there was a couple elements that I enjoyed, in Picard season 1. Um, so I took the element that I did like, and I was like, let's kind of expand upon the story
Mhm.
some, and then set
Mhm.
the Raincross adventures off, so we can tell that series, which is the kind of synth, aspect. Let's tell that story of someone that's kind of being hunted by the government per se, and the
Yeah,
aspect of, like,
yeah,
what would
yeah,
it be
yeah,
like if you
yeah.
you what would that be like if you were kind of that outlaw per se,
Hmm. Hmm.
and because that was something that I just don't feel like Picard got it right. They kind of skimmed over a lot of important issues, and fan films allow you to kind of delve into those worlds. One of the films that we filmed on your set, Break Free, allowed us to kind of delve into Wolf 359 a little bit more of, what if we sat, what if we were in that moment of history where the Borg, are about to wipe out Earth, and we don't know anything. We're collecting survivors, but in that moment of history, you don't know anything. You can't hear from Starfleet. The Borg are
Yeah,
about to wipe out it. Like,
yeah,
to me, it's very much like Battlestar Galactica was, where what do you do?
yeah.
You're
You're alone. You have no support.
exactly.
Yeah.
To me, I find that very intriguing, and they never
Hmm.
really touched upon that in the Next
Hmm.
Generation. So to
Hmm.
me, fan films is the perfect outlet to kind of take that small section and just let's really delve into the meat
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
topic.
With that said, I am really impressed when I see a film or a TV series or an episode where there's minimal writing. Everything is based on the situation the person is in, and the whole episode can go without, 20 words.
Yeah,
And to have that skill to keep you riveted to the screen. I always when I'm thinking about writing the script, write out the outline or the scenario, and then I try to take out all the dialogue as much as I can, and instead of saying, like one actor would say, "Oh, hey, how are you doing? Are you doing okay?" Instead of that, you just come in and say, "I'm sick." That sets, like, in the viewer's mind. You go, why is he sick? What's happened? It 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 gets you immediately involved, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm writing a new script, and I'm trying to make it so, um, story driven rather than dialogue driven.
right.
So that was
Well,
Yeah.
One of the oh, hold up, we got a couple. So Ian says, hello Vance, hello Dan, and hello Daniel, hello Ian.
Hello, Ian.
And Daniel Vance says, studios have become too scared to try hard to mitigate monetary losses. Long gone are the new ideas that might break the bank in favor of safe nostalgia.
Well,
I
there's two points in that statement is money and money, and that's what drives everything. And it's real hard to get a series or an idea or a script past the executives unless the executives say, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea. We'll get viewers or we'll get advertisers or whatever." So yeah, I get that, you know. But
well,
you know, we're in a totally different category because we don't make any money.
no, we lose money. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's
how I
lose. Yeah,
yeah, I just spent $50 on a Gorn mask that my wife was like, "Really, fucker? You're gonna buy that? Oh man!" So I mean, it's
well,
we
show the show. Can you show that, or you don't want to
sure.
show it?
Oh,
You
oh,
want to show it?
absolutely.
Show that.
Oh, absolutely.
You showed it to
This
me
this
earlier.
right
That's a
here,
nice one. That's really nice.
and here's where, for anyone wondering, here's where the eye yeah, here's where the eye holes are.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, around the nose there. Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
And yeah, there's
cool,
like
cool.
two eye holes. Um, but the thing I really enjoy, and it's because it gets you really inside the head. It's the reason why they do captain's logs. It's I enjoy like the internal monologue where you can go out, you can take any character, be like, just put on this uniform, go walk over there on the woods, pretend like you're looking at berries, and then go walk over there near this broken down building, and just pretend like you're investigating the woods, and then go over here, look at the sky like you're just lost in thought. Like you can have them go do the most random shit,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can sit on the footage for 3 months and just forget about it, and then later on you can just, oh hey, what if the character was doing uh what if it was an old village that he was plummeting, or not plummeting,
Mm-hmm.
or what if it was a village that they got a distress call and they were too late, and you can fill that out later. It doesn't matter what it was, it's
Mm-hmm.
just you've got the footage, you can come up with the story idea later, and it's internalized, and you can come up with the best film because
Mm-hmm.
the audience, whatever you write, you now have, you can write it out and just give it to the editor, because now it's a voiceover, and it doesn't even matter what the voice sounds like because you've never heard the guy speak. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like all that's in the editing room. You're just, here you go, you
Oh
do it.
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
and those type of films, it really gets in the head of the character. It lets the audience get in the head of the character, and then all you have to do is say something mysterious at the end of it. He could say something like, "God, I hate pistachios," and the audience is like, "What is that? What does pistachios have to
Yeah.
do with it? Oh my
Yeah.
God!" You
Yeah.
know, um, but stuff like that. It's that's something that you can turn that easily into a 3-4 minute film, and it can be the best darn film
Mm-hmm.
because it gets the audience so engaged and they're on
Yeah.
the edge of their seat.
I'm friends with a guy who wrote for he wrote an episode for the animated series back in the 70s, and then he wrote for Voyager. He wrote a couple episodes for Voyager, and on his he's a screenwriter, and he teaches other people how to write for TV and movies. Uh, and he used to actually live in Arkansas, and I got to meet him, and we became fast friends. And on his website, he has a list of story ideas that he submitted that were rejected. And I looked at those one day when I found them. I started going through them, and it's the name of the episode, and then a little synopsis of how the story would run during the episode. And I contacted him one day, and I said, "Hey, man, I would love to take one of these ideas and make it into a Star Trek story." And he said, "I would love that." So um, that's kind of a fun project for me right now, and I'm 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 trying to really impress him because I mean he wrote several episodes for this Star Trek franchise. So I'm just throwing that out there. Just what I'm working on lately. But
Well,
you mentioned. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that that's the beauty of the modern technologies. We're able to communicate with people who,
Hmm.
like Robert Bolivar, who worked on several Star Trek episodes. His when I first started writing, we worked on Melbourne, and he gave several different insights of, hey, this is how you write, because we
Hmm.
sent him the script and we're like, what do you think?
Hmm.
And he said, hey, you're writing like a fan. This is how
Yeah.
you write normal, because
Yeah.
he said when the way you're talking, you don't say, I'm going to go down to engineering to fix the warp core. You just
Yeah.
say, I'm going to go fix the warp core. He said, just like you don't say, I'm going to go to the kitchen and make a sandwich. It's
Yes.
soon as you go into the kitchen, you just say,
Right.
I'm going to go make a sandwich. We
Right.
know you're going to the kitchen because you don't go to the bathroom to make a sandwich. If you do,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you've got some problems in your
Hmm.
household. And that one piece of advice, instantly, I know what got it. That one piece of advice
Yeah.
is so important, to writing. And I love the fact, if it wasn't for that, I would still be writing like a fan,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But modern technology is so important with, how we communicate with, people who, I mean, I'm sure it's probably a forgettable conversation to him, but to me, dude, it changed my way of thinking, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
But hold on real quick before we get to Daniel Vance says that mask is a steal for $50. We're going to need you to get all the way off his back, Mona. Ian says it's an investment. He's trying to build up his toy chest. And then he gives a winky face. Exactly, Ian. Exactly. Thank you, Ian. Yes, exactly.
Got to have some support, man. I mean,
Exactly. Exactly. So with
I,
your
I was
oh
going to
go
say,
ahead.
I tell people, when they find out what I do, and I've got sets just feet from, I've got the entire bridge right here next to me. And when people come into the office and they kind of look at it, they go, "Are you making money doing this, or what? And what possessed you to want to do this?" Those kind of questions. And I'll say, "Look, are you a golfer? Oh yeah, I go out on the golf course every weekend." I say, "Do you make money playing golf? Do you enjoy playing golf? Is golf a habit?" And they always say, "Yeah." I say, "Well, this is my golf game."
That
So
exactly.
yeah.
That no, that's a perfect way to look at it. It's the time you spend on doing something. It's like my brother-in-law. He loves, he's got his, car and his boom system and everything. And for me, it's like, man, they spend hundreds of dollars on stuff like that, and to me, I don't get any of it because it just gives me a headache when they boom their system. To me, it's like I'd rather do something that, hey, I got this stuff I can do with my son. And
Sure.
a couple of weeks ago, I put him, we were filming, and I put him in, an alien mask, and he waves to the camera and waves to the other guy. I mean, he's just having a good old time filming. But to me, it's one of those things where it's like we're building memories, with friends, family, you
Hmm.
know, and
Well, he
I
would be a
started.
great alien, like
What's
in a.
that now?
He would be a great alien,
Oh yeah,
like the TOS episode Corbomite Maneuver at the
yeah,
very end. That
oh
was
yeah,
Clint Howard, I think, was
yes,
played that as. I mean, he was what, 8 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old. Yeah,
oh yeah.
that was
Oh
cool.
yeah, see, and that's the thing. Like Royce, he had no idea what was going on. And of course, he's so young, he could only do it for like 5 minutes. And then, okay, go on, Royce,
Yeah.
you're good. That's why I wrote, and say, hey, let's do this small thing, and then you can go. But I mean, when we were filming the rest of our scene, he went off, played video games, then he came back. Said, can I watch? And of course you can. Come on in, Turkey Butt. Let's do this. But it's stuff like that where it's like, he sat in the chair, and of course we had to keep telling him, shh, we're filming.
Oh yeah.
But it's like you're building memories with your kid, and
Sure. Yeah.
like when we come to the set, we're building memories with friends. You remember the road trip that you took to get there. You're BSing with your friend. You're listening to music. To me, I've always found the road trips driving to the studio. I find it so peaceful because it's like you get the hell away from work, you get the
Hmm.
hell away from normal life, and then you get to set and you see people you haven't seen in a while. Like it's like a family reunion. You see
Hmm.
people you haven't seen in years a lot of times. Um, it is like you said, like the golf game. It's your hobby. It's something you do for fun. And it is a lot of fun to do stuff. Except, it's like Kenneth Thompson told me the other night. We were chatting on the phone. He said, it's like we're playing, except we're recording it for posterity. And I'm like, that's exactly
Yep.
it. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
We never think about, do we make money off these? Because I've had people tell me, well, you could make money off your movies, and I'm like, anyone that says that, dude, my movies aren't good. They're not the ones you want to make money off of.
Yeah.
But they're fun, you know. Um, but so you've been doing Star Trek for what, 6 years now? You said.
Yeah. I think yeah, since 2015, I think is when Glenn and I met uh, up in New York at Ticonderoga,
Mhm.
and we started doing things up there. Yeah.
So what got you into you're a fan of mostly classic Star Trek.
Yes, I grew up watching it, when it first came out. So I was around when it first came out, and it was, back in those days, uh, we would get a subscription to the TV Guide, if people know what that is. It
Yep.
was like a little magazine, and it would come in the mail, or you could buy it at the grocery store, and it would be a weekly thing, and it would be a listing of all the movies and TV series that was out for the entire week. And of course, back in those days, um, there were only like 3 channels or maybe 5 channels. If you could get UHF reception, you'd have a couple other UHF channels to watch. Um, but but during the season where they would introduce all of the new TV series, they would have a fall edition of the TV Guide, and it would list all of the new shows. And my brother and I would get that TV Guide, would go through it, and would just drool on all the pages on watching the new, like, back then James Bond movies were big, so there were several TV shows that came out that, like The Man from Uncle, and I Spy, and Get Smart, and all of those. So when Star Trek came out, this was around the time when, the space program was in its infancy, back in the middle '60s, and so NASA would shoot a rocket up, and they'd go around the Earth, and then they would splash down, and that was a big thing to watch that on TV. And I got really hooked on uh, GI Joes, and they had an astronaut edition with a helmet, and you could get the capsule and the whole. And I bought all that stuff, and that just ushered me right into to when Star Trek came out. I watched Star Trek, Lost in Space, Space
Oh
1999.
yeah.
Yeah, all those, and Land of the Giants, all of those really science fantasy fiction type of things.
That was a
Yeah.
that was a great time to be
Oh, it
a.
was. Yeah. And like I said, we only had three or four channels. And I remember when television went from black and white to color. So, I
Mhm.
mean, when I was a young kid, all we had was black and white. And then when we got to color television, I'm like, this was just like optical drugs for me. I mean, I just overdosed on, I would sit in front of the TV, and there were controls to adjust the color. You had tint, contrast, and something else. But I'd play with the colors, and I'd turn regular people into aliens by making them purple and green, and you know. Um, but Star Trek came out, and I really had a hard time watching it because my mom, I think it was at the same time as some drama that she wanted to watch. So she said, "You need to watch that crap. That's just crap. You don't need to watch that."
Mhm.
So I would always want to go to my neighbor's house where they would watch Star Trek, and they had a bigger color television anyway. So, but I watched every episode over and over and over. And then they came out on reruns and watched them over and over and over again. And then they came out in syndication a few years later. They came on every day. So, I even when VCRs first came out, that was the first thing that I recorded. I would record these TV shows off on a videotape, and kept them. I still may have some of them, but yeah, Star Trek's been. You know what? And it's funny. I never get tired of watching it. I can watch it every single night. Watch 2 or 3 episodes and just watch them.
Yeah.
And then when Glenn and I started doing fan films based on the TOS era, I would go back and it was like watching the episodes new over again because I would be looking at the sets. I would be looking at the way the lighting was. I'd be listening to the sound and the Foley and the background orchestration, the music. So it was all new when we started doing our fan films. But yeah, Star Trek has been in my life since 1966.
Well, it almost, I know when I was younger and I loved Batman and Star Trek and, of course, what kid doesn't, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and my dad, he was kind of a stern fellow. And he would say, you better grow up. You're not going to like that Star Trek and He-Man and Batman and Nintendo bullshit. And here I am and I'm sharing those things with my son and he loves them. and,
Yeah.
and I think, to me, there's something therapeutic about when you get to to play in the Star Trek world, or you get to when you watch the Batman, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's the Adam West, the Biff Bang Pow, or the Michael Keaton, where he's more stern, or the more modern stuff. It's like
Yeah.
whatever your flavor, there's your flavor. It's out there. Just pick it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
To
And
me,
I,
like that's
and
what
I,
I.
yeah, I think you find that more creative people are drawn to that kind of thing too.
Yeah,
And you're a creative person because you like to write it and you like to create these stories. So I think you'll find that most creative people are in this genre. They like that kind of stuff.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
going back to like Lost in Space, to me, and this is I tried to explain to one of my friends. His name's Pete. He plays Ruiz in my films. A long time friend. We tried to watch Night of the Living Dead, which he was like, "This is a zombie film." I'm like, "Dude, you have to look at the time in which this was made.
Yeah.
This is a genius film for back then. One, the symbolism is there. If he didn't understand symbolism, but I said, one, the budget they had was great. Symbolism is there. Even if zombie's not your thing, the symbolism is wonderful. But um, what they were doing back then, um, that and the Twilight Zone were great
Hmm.
stories. I
Yeah.
mean, just those type of, every week something different on a half, less than half hours ago. I think it was like with commercials, what was it, like
Yep.
22 minutes or 21
22
minutes?
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. On all of that stuff, shoestring budget. Um, that with Lost in Space, very early days of sci-fi horror. Just
Mhm.
it really made you, it really just made you just think of like what can I do with limitations like this? I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
mean
right.
it's I mean, zombie films like nowadays, you have all these, they're a dime a dozen, and I don't like them because it's like it's nothing but gore, and to me, there's no substance there. But you go back to that original story, and it very much is symbolic of like how kind of corporate America is kind of smushing in on the old lifestyle change of the farmhouse, and just
Mm.
that's it's symbolic of the zombies, and I loved that.
Yeah.
Um, but when you get to the zombie part, it's like they didn't really have a budget. It's all just it's like the first Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver. Like you didn't see much of that alien. It's all the mind's filling it in. You see a little here, a little there, a little over there, a little over, but it's all
Mhm.
your mind filling in the blanks. So I mean, it's not a super huge movie, um, but it shows you what you can do on a small budget,
Oh,
and that's
absolutely, yeah. There's a
that's
lot of those, Night of the Living Dead. I don't think they had a I don't even think they had a budget.
no,
Uh,
no,
but yeah,
not really, not
it
with
yeah,
yeah,
but I think the reason that stood the test of time is because it was the only story, um, in its category in the time that delved into something that people would not dare to make at
no,
that time in that time period. Now they're making it all over the place. But yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot of, you know, when I in the 80s, I owned several video stores, and one of the hottest renting movies was another low budget movie. And if you get a chance to watch it, you'll understand why it rented so much. I mean, I made so much rental dollars on that film. It was called I Spit on Your Grave. And now I know they've got a newer version. This was done in the 80s, I think. But go back and watch it. Um, your son can't be in the room when you watch it. I mean, it's pretty gross. But those kind of films were so out there that you could only watch. It'd never be at wouldn't even be at a drive-in movie theater. I mean, it was so bad it wouldn't be in a drive-in movie theater. But the story's good. The cinematography's, you know, subpar, but it's a revenge movie, and people gravitate to stuff like that. You know, vigilanteism and revenge, that kind of thing. But if you get a chance, watch that. I mean, I when we had a guy that would call us every week and kind of promote what was good and what was uh, what was renting and stuff. And when he said that, I spit on your grave. I go, oh, that don't even sound good to me. He goes, trust me, and he was right. I had to buy several copies because they would just get wore out from people renting them. So yeah, you
see,
never know. And the great thing about making fan films is whatever story you want to tell, you have that freedom to tell it. You know, however you want to present it. So you know
see,
you do that a lot. I mean, because you've told buku stories. You know.
well, and that's like that's the thing. It's like to me at the end of the day, if you don't connect with the characters, you don't have a story, and that's one of the things. One of the things that I love about yours and Wolf's stories with the Federation Files is you take a fresh set of characters and you'll tell a story, and then you'll go off next adventure. It's a fresh set of characters, and it's something else. One of the one of the things that I did not think that I would like it, if I'm being honest, but when I watched it, I was like, man, I got to watch this again. Is the and I'm bad with titles. I'm bad with names in general. But it's the one where it's told entirely in the past. But they're kind of investigating like all these time travel stuff from Star Trek. Um, you know,
Oh yeah, the equinox effect.
yeah, yeah. It
I think that's what's when you're talking about.
I'm not. I don't think that. I don't think that one's. It's they're it's entirely in the past, and they're investigating. They're looking at. It's been a while since I've seen it. I
Okay.
think was it a two-parter maybe. I don't think it was a two-part, but it's two people. They're looking for like they're looking for like a newspaper. Um,
Oh, that's
and it was inside your building.
Mask, I think.
Yeah, it might be. Again, I'm bad with titles, but like it
Excuse me.
wasn't like at the very end they get like all these props. And again, I might be misremembering the story, but like I just remember going, oh, that's an Easter egg. Oh, that's an Easter egg. Oh, that's
Hmm.
an.
Hmm.
And they go around to all these different, and they start talking, and it's like if you're not paying close attention, you won't get it. And Wolf had to actually explain. I was like, what is
Yeah.
it? What does this mean? He's like, oh, it's from this episode. I was like, and it made me go back and watch like what episode. Oh, okay, that okay. Now I can continue like because
Okay.
and I actually watched it like several times because it was such your characters that you built there.
Mm.
It was very much like a Men in Black type meets Star Trek
Oh
because
yeah. Well, he based those characters, Oakley and Brown, who were paranormal investigators in New York City, and he based those characters off of the X Files because
yeah.
Glenn loves the X Files, and we did 2 episodes, Mask and I'll have to go back and look to find out what the other one was called. One was about a mask we found in a cave. The other one was, you put me on the spot. I'll have to go back and look. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, those characters were based on the X Files, and actually we have at least 2 more episodes that we're going to do with those characters,
Good.
which I'm excited about. It's not really Star Trek. We put Star Trek references in them,
Right.
but they're not based on space travel and the whole thing. So
No,
yeah,
but it's so different, and that's what I like about it is like it's kind of, but I beg to differ. It is it's like those episodes of like Voyager where Janeway is, she's playing the great grandmother of Janeway, where she's, in the past, and the great grandmother,
oh yeah,
or where
hmm,
T'Pol is the first Vulcan, their version of First Contact, and it's not to Paul, but it's her grandmother. Like it's one of those where it's like it doesn't quite fit in with modern Star Trek in the here and now, 23rd century, 24th century. But flip side of the coin, it's so involved with Trek. You're like, this is so
hmm,
good, and it's so out of the box. Where
yeah,
I mean, it's such good storytelling. You're like, how can you not include that? I mean, it's
yeah.
so good. Daniel Vance says there are so many Easter eggs in the Federation files, even after dozens of watches. I've never caught them all. No, and that's exactly it. That's why it's so nice to be able to talk to Wolf or
Mm,
Dan to be like, dude, what was
yeah.
that? What was that about?
Yeah, one of my favorite Voices from the Past is what you're thinking about.
Mhm.
That's the one. One of my favorite films, my all-time favorite films, is a 1960 release of The Time Machine
Mhm.
with Rod Taylor and Yvette Mimieux. And I went to the theaters to watch that, and it affected me tremendously. The monsters in there are still to this day um, believable. And I'm sure that they went out and cast a bunch of beer belly men, and they painted them all green and put big teeth and masks. You need to watch that film. It's a very excellent sci-fi movie. Um, but in Doppelganger, I put a lot of Easter eggs in there about the time machine. So you need to go back and watch and see if you can see some things that are on the desk or in the background or whatever. So,
Well, see,
but
that's
Easter
that's
eggs are fun.
no, they certainly are like that. That's the beauty of doing the fan films. Is I know in my films, like I've gotten I've gotten ridiculed from some people. Why do they have that painting in the background? It's not
Yeah.
Star Trek like, and it's like, because I'll take the drawings Royce does for me, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm putting this in the background, or I'll take something if somebody
Oh
sends
yeah.
it to me, I'll put that in the back, because it's like if somebody sends something to you, that means they're obviously a fan.
Yeah.
How can you not put that in your film? Especially it's like
Yeah.
if you make a certain amount, why not? Who
Yeah.
cares? You
Well,
know,
Glenn has this fiberglass rock, and it's about, oh, it's probably this big. It's 2 foot by 2 foot, and I think it may be for a speaker, outdoor speaker or something. I don't know. He puts that in every film, and he brings it with him and go, "Oh no, we're putting the rock in this scene." So yeah, and
no,
it's our film, so we can do whatever we want to.
there you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
So, all right, man. Well, we're approaching the 1 hour mark, so
Okay.
I think we'll about call it good. So, that being said, what can we expect real quick from the Federation Files coming up? Of course, we have the
Well,
film awards, which we'll
yeah,
be
we got
doing.
that coming up. I think it's April 5th. I think is when we're going to announce all the winners.
Okay.
And what we're working on next, we're going to do a little production for that. So we're going to invite all of the directors to be involved in part of the presentation. So we may be calling on you to do one of the segments. We've got 3 scripts that we're working on, and it's funny how we work. If we have a nice day that we could do this scene for this script, we'll go do that. If this person comes into town, we'll do their one shots. If the weather's good and we want to do a drone shot, then we get the drone out. So we're working on 3 scripts, and we're kind of trying to coordinate people to come and do them. We're doing a mud sequel, and we're trying to get David Whitney, who played that character. He lives up in Iowa, so we're trying to get him coordinated to come down. He was going to come down a few weeks ago, but I think the weather was bad and maybe someone had COVID or whatever. But we're fan filmmakers, so we don't work 9 to 5, 7
We
days.
We don't keep bankers hours.
No, we don't. We just work when we can. So, but we do have 3 films, and then the script that I'm working on with, and I didn't mention his name. His name is Larry Brody, the guy that wrote for Voyager and did a animated script. I'm working with him on a new script, and then Glenn and I have a story that we're working on together, where he and I are going to be the actors in this one. Just he and I were trapped in a what do you call them? What? I just lost my mind.
Subspace.
No, we're lost in a escape pod together.
Oh, okay.
And we crash on a planet, and he's injured, and I have to go do all the work, or maybe I'm injured and he does. I don't know. But it's an idea that, we want to come up with an idea where we could shoot the things when no one else we needed anyone, and we could do it ourselves. So we thought about this story. So we're working on that. And we're always open if people have projects that they can't finish, we will try to finish them for them. So
that's awesome.
Out there. Yeah.
That is awesome. So for anybody who wants to get a hold of you for Federation Files, if they want to work with you guys, or if they're interested in anything like that, where would they get a hold of you guys?
You can go to our website, thefederationfiles.com, and there's a place to send an email, or you can you could go to Facebook and you can look me up, Dan Reynolds. I'm in Harrison, Arkansas. We have the Federation Files Facebook page there. Just contact us there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put those links in the description. So if anybody in the chat wants to connect with Dan or Warp 66 Studios, we will, I'll have that in the description. Or if anybody watching on the rewind wants to, just click on the description. It'll be right there. Connect with them. Both Dan and Wolf are friendly people, as you can tell. So with that being said, Dan, I want to thank you for coming on, chatting with me today.
Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. And we got to have you on again closer to the award ceremony time to get everybody jazzed up.
Sure,
chat about it. So
hey, would you bring pizza the next time?
I'll see what we can do. I might be tapped out watching all those films, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, so you're gonna be busy.
Right on, man. Well, I look forward to it because you got some good films in there. So
yeah, there are.
So, all right. Well, that being said, everyone, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.